So welcome to our channel Quest, Wilderness and More. Before the adventure begins, let me introduce the companions who make this journey truly unforgettable. Hey Diganta. This is Ishan. Hi.
Pluto.
That's my mom, my mother-in-law. And that's me.
Good morning, good evening, wherever you are in the world. So welcome to our channel. So in the previous video, we showed you how we reached Kanha National Park by road, enduring a 1300 plus kilometers of drive through national highways and backcountry roads, traversing through different landscapes covering the states of Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Maharashtra, and then ultimately reaching Madhya Pradesh. If you have not seen that video, for the sake of continuity, please watch it. The link is in the description. In this visit, we did 3 safaris in the core areas or the core zone of the Kanha National Park and 1 safari in the buffer area. In this particular video, we will show you our day 1 safari, one in the morning and the one in the evening in the core zone of Kanha National Park, right? So yeah, what do I mean when I say core zone and buffer zone, right? So every national park in the country has core zone and buffer zone. From animal movement point of view, whether it is the core zone or the buffer zone, it doesn't matter because it's nevertheless the same forest. The core zone is literally the core habitat of the forest inhabitants, and no commercial activities like farming, grazing of cattle, running resorts and hotels for tourists or trekking are permitted, right? Hence, these are the areas with minimal disturbance to wildlife. In the buffer zone, to some extent, these activities are permitted actually, right? But they are permitted under the strict supervision of Forest Department and other authorities, obviously. Core zones have very limited, areas within wherein safaris are actually permitted. And in reality, even if we call it a core zone safari, right now I'm calling it, right, whether it is any national park, any famous national park, Jim Corbett, Bandhavgarh, or this Kanha or Tadoba, right, even if I say it's a core zone safari, basically we explore only a very small limited section of the core zone. Yes, that is the reality actually. So, it's very obvious as national park managers and administrators, by limiting tourists to the core habitat, obviously we don't want to disturb the wildlife, right? That is the basically main reason. Yeah, so Kanha National Park, coming back to Kanha National Park and this video, Kanha National Park is spread across Mandla and the Balaghat district of Madhya Pradesh. This is the largest national park in Madhya Pradesh and one of the largest in India. The core area, just the core area of Kanha National Park is about 940 square kilometers, and including the buffer area of about 1000 square kilometers. The national park is basically spread across a massive area of close to 2000 square kilometers, right? So making it indeed one of the largest tiger habitats in India, right? Though Kanha could easily be nominated for an award if there was one for the title Land of the Tigers. Just imagine if there was an award show and Kanha was nominated, Kanha could have won that award. But you know what? Tiger is not the flagship species of Kanha. You know what is the flagship species of Kanha National Park? It's the hard ground Barasingha, hard ground swamp deer, right? So there are other species of Barasinghas as well, like the soft ground swamp deer or soft ground Barasingha, which is found in the Tarai landscapes like Kaziranga, Manas, some parts of Nepal. But this particular one, the hard ground swamp deer was on the brink of extinction due to hunting and habitat loss. You see, the hard ground Barasingha that we are talking about here, the hard ground swamp deer, it depends on this particular grass texture that grows only on meadows, and when forests take over the meadows, the grassland habitat shrinks, and so it impacts the Barasingha survival. You see, after all, it is not always due to deforestation, habitat loss of a particular species actually happens. Kanha played the key role in revival of the species and brought it back from the brink of extinction. Now they numbered in thousands and often are relocated to other tiger reserves that offer grassland habitats, right? You must be wondering how come we know so much about Kanha National Park when we just arrived here as tourists, isn't it, right? Well, actually the matter of the fact is that we visited Kanha earlier as well. Earlier we did not used to make videos and only remained satisfied by just mere wildlife photography. By the way, those two pictures, the picture of a tiger and the photograph of an Indian gaur crossing the road, they were taken at Kanha National Park during our earlier visit, right? So we were wildlife lovers much before we started doing YouTube videos. Okay, our previous visit to Kanha is documented in the form of a blog which you can read, and we are leaving a link in the description for you to read. Do check it out if you want to know how Kanha is during summer months, right? Now that we are visiting during the winter months, right? While our earlier visit was during summer months, when obviously sighting chances are high as tigers would often prefer to stay near water bodies, this time we had decided to visit during winter. Why winter, you must be wondering? Well, because of two main reasons. Mating season is the number one reason. Mating season of the tigers in most places in the subcontinent is between November to February. During this time, tiger movement is more widespread as the animals in heat travel large distances in search of meat. They often would growl to let their presence known to the potential mates. Hence, we thought this could be an exciting opportunity. The beauty of a forest, is the second reason. The beauty of the forest, especially, is its fauna. It is different during different seasons, and we wanted to check out how Kanha looks during the winter months, isn't it? As a forest, as an ecosystem in terms of landscape, right? So these were the two reasons why we decided to visit Kanha during the winter. So what happened during this visit to Kanha during winter? Did we see a tiger or two or three or more? Well, to find out, please watch the video till the end. We assure you, by the way, that you won't be disappointed. Kanha has 4 core zone safari options: the gate or zones of Kanha, Kisli, Mukki and Sarai. We did the 3 safaris in the Mukki zone. So the date was the 23rd of December, a chilly morning, and the time was around 5:30 a.m. when we were ready. The MPT manager Dhaniram Ji very efficiently manages to have permits verified, and safari vehicle comes right up to the MPT to pick you up, basically. Dhaniram Ji in fact had collected our permits the day we checked in and had collected the balance amount. I mean, the permit fee which we had already paid online, we also needed to pay full the vehicle fee and the guide fee. He had diligently arranged for the rest of the process downstream without us to worry about it much for all the safaris that we did. Hot beverages were served on the cold morning with temperatures of around 3 to 4 degrees centigrade. On offer was option of both tea as well as coffee. We chose the coffee for a stronger dose of caffeine, and my mom preferred the tea. Ishan obviously chose to remain caffeine free. The safari vehicle picked us up right from the doorstep of the reception area, and breakfast was packed for us by the MPT staff. There was a brief queue of similar safari vehicles at the Mukki Gate, and soon we were assigned the guide, and at sharp 6:30 a.m. the safari entry point to the core zone opened for vehicles to enter. Initially, all vehicles enter and drive through a main dirt road for an initial 3 kilometers or so, and then divide to part ways to check out different sections of the forest. For those who booked a safari in the Kanha or Kisli zone but entered through Mukki, those vehicles continue on the main dirt road ahead towards the Kanha or the Kisli zones. But ours was Mukki zone, our guide was Dhaniram Ji, and our driver was a young chap named Aniket. यूं ही बातें करते करते, while witnessing some regular inhabitants like spotted deer, we were just within 10 minutes of our first safari, and this happened. MV3 is an old dominant female of the Mukki zone. The car stopped on a particular track with a significant gap left between us and the vehicles coming from the opposite end, very near to the junction with the main dirt road. Then this happened. MV3 emerged. An elegant tigress, though was old, but still seemed to be in her prime. She seemed to be bold as well. The coat with golden, yellow and elegantly placed black stripes glowing almost magically in the morning sun. We did not have enough of appreciating her elegance when we all soon got distracted. She wasn't alone, was she? Something tinier moved ahead of her while she crossed the track. The tiny thing moved into the bushes, completing the stretch of the track, but the MV3 or Mahavir 3 female did not complete and stood right at the track as if guarding something, staring at us. Perhaps it was waiting for someone to follow her. Soon another tiny one emerged and hastily crossed the track. We were informed that MV3 actually had 3 cubs, but one of them was sadly lost to wild dogs or trolls, most likely when the family was in some other area away from the Mukki zone. Unfortunately, this is a reality. Not all tiger cubs make it to adulthood, and leopards, trolls, and in particular male tigers that are not their father are a threat to the cubs. Recently, you may have heard about tiger deaths across India. Prominently, just MP lost 55 tigers. You would be surprised to know that the primary reason is the increase in tiger numbers. Yes. Tiger cubs, when they grow up, need territory of their own. You see, tigers are territorial animals. So, there are often territorial battles where tiger lives are lost. Whatever may be the outcome of tiger territorial battles, there are always the weaker tigers driven out to fringes of the forest in the lookout for new territory. Sometimes weaker tigers in search of new territory end up in conflict with human interest, human cattle. There have been instances wherein cattle owners, as a result of grievance, poisoned the carcass of cattle killed by a predator, and as a result tiger deaths happen, often due to poisoning as well. Dhaniram Ji seemed to be a very knowledgeable naturalist and knew minute to minute details of the habitat. Not just birds and animals, but his knowledge of flora also seemed amazing. Kanha, from a floral standpoint, is predominantly sal, polas, and certain deciduous trees. However, there are significant patches of bamboo forests as well. Did you know bamboo is not a tree? It actually belongs to the grass family. Did you know bamboo flowers only once in their lifetime? And there is a good reason for it. That's how nature keeps its balance. Dhaniram Ji informed us that the local indigenous tribes believe that when bamboo flowers in a particular year, that is considered a bad omen. Bole to abshakun. There is a deep scientific reason for that. It seems rodents, especially rats, love to feed on bamboo flowers and seeds. And during such flowering events, the breeding rate of rats multifold. They increase. However, in the following year, when the bamboo does not flower, obviously because they flower only once in their lifetime, right? The rat population had already increased the previous year as a result of surplus of food. And as a result of shortage of food in the following year, in the forest, rats would often raid farmlands to devour on cash crops from fields and go down storages. This causes a significant monetary loss for farmers. अब समझे क्यों अपशकुन? The rest of our safari was uneventful except for some sightings of beautiful birds and usual ungulates like gore and lots of spotted deer. We noticed that the white-rumped shama was frequently sighted almost at every corner of this forest. We also spotted the relatively elusive munchtak or the barking deer. Barking deer are one of the early forms of the deer when deer started evolving from some prehistoric ungulate species millions of years ago, while we humans were evolving from apes. Unlike other deer species, barking deer are elusive and solitary. Bole to you don't get to see them in herds like others. We also spotted some sambar deer. Did you know sambar deer is the largest deer species in Asia and the second largest in the world, with a tie with the North American elk? By the way, when we were in North America, we had sighted elk as well and made video on them. If you have not watched that video, please check out the link in the description if you want to know more about elk. You will be astonished how similar elk and sambar deer actually are, not just in size but also in behavior. But we made one particular observation: elk usually come in larger herds, but in case of sambar deer, the herd size is smaller. Later that day, we went for an evening safari in the same Mukki zone. This time our guide's name was Prem and driver's name was Shishupal. In the events that unfolded, it turned out that Prem was a very good tracker of tigers. Check out what happened next. On one unremarkable dirt road, under the hood of bamboo, teak and sal, providing a shade from the bright sunlight from above, and some dense undergrowth of grass, some unidentified bush and lantana on the forest floor, Prem suddenly said the golden word 3 times. Arey, tiger, 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 tiger. On the track ahead seemed a large tiger who was sat, but on seeing our vehicle retreated into the dense bush on the side. We reached the spot as we noticed the huge beast moving inside and more inside into the foliage, but just before disappearing, decided to lay down and rest. We unfortunately got obscured view of the laying beast due to the obvious dense bushes. However, at the same time, we considered ourselves very fortunate to witness another rare sight that unfolded. It was not a single tiger actually, there were 2 of them and it was a mating pair. There was a male further inside who was growling as we could clearly hear it, probably agitated by the presence of the vehicle disturbing their privacy. The female did not growl but laid down, but did raise its head once in a while to keep an eye on us. It was such a rare sight to witness a mating pair of tigers in the wild. Though the views were obscured, but we considered ourselves very lucky and we were the only safari vehicles that was there on that spot at that time. 2 moments later, what made that particular already thrilling moment more thrilling was that we heard longer alarm calls from another direction, quite far away though, and also we could hear a strong growling of another tiger. From the frequency of the growling sound, the best prediction we had was that it was from about 500 to 700 meters away. Our guide informed us that all safari vehicles have a tracker fitted and we were not allowed to stay at a particular position for too long. So anyway, we had to leave the pair of the mating tiger behind. There it emerged, right on the slope ahead of us, right on the track, facing us from uphill, came down a magnificent, huge and fearsome looking male tiger in its prime, growling and marking its territory. Behold, Neela Naala or T121, one of the dominant male tigers of the Mukki zone. His territory covers part of the Mukki zone as well as Kanha zone. You see, these zones are created by Forest Department for administrative purpose, but to the dwellers of the forest, the Kanha National Park is a single forest with no boundaries. His name is Neela Naala, पर ना तो ये नीले रंग का है, ना ही ये नाले में पड़ा हुआ मिलता है. बोले तो Neither he is blue in color nor he is found in some stream or something. Kanha and in other tiger reserves, often tigers are named based on the area that they are sighted at for the first time. So this tiger was probably first time sighted near an area in the forest known as Neela Naala, mostly a stream where water was unusually blue. We will cover how often wild animals are named by forest departments and tourists in some other video. Neela Naala was by far one of the largest tiger specimen in the wild we ever saw. The head was unusually huge, the body looked heavily muscular, and the paws, oh boy, if they land on even the most powerful wrestler on earth, I'm sure it will bring trouble to the strong man, right? Well, looking at the beast like this reminds us that no matter how much weightlifting we do and no matter how much physically powerful we think we are, looking at Neela Naala just would remind you how inferior we stand in front of such a powerful beast. No human strength can possibly match this one. He appeared calm and unbothered by our presence and walked directly head on towards us. From behind, soon there were few other vehicles that followed, keeping a safe distance. Ours was the only vehicle who saw him that day head on. Enjoy these remarkable visuals, and fortunately for us, a rare moment, as many people say, encountering a beast like this head on is definitely a matter of luck. In winter especially, tiger tend to prefer to walk on safari tracks like this one did. The reason behind it is they want their presence felt by growling, as this is also the mating season, as I said earlier. And in winter, the second reason is in the winter the bushes are often wet due to fog and mist moisture, and tigers don't like cold moisture on their fur. Hence, tiger prefer to walk on tracks, and Neela Naala's encounter is a testimony to that. He just kept walking for close to 500 meters right on the track before deciding to enter a pagdandi or an animal-made track, and eventually disappeared into the bushes. With Neela Naala sighting, our evening safari and the last safari of the day ended, and we went back to the MPT Mukki with a smile on our face. In our next video, we will show you our day 2 safaris and also an experience of walking in the forest with a trained guide right in the tiger territory. Stay tuned for that. Subscribe to our channel if you like wildlife adventure, and do not forget to hit the bell icon or the notification button so that you get notified whenever we upload a new video. Thanks for watching.